here, and then we're gonna hit create or add gear. Wait a minute, where do I go? I don't even know. Configure this game. Yeah, there you go. That's where I need to go. Tutorial. If that's what a dev product is. Basically, gear, and we just created it. All right, so now we need to copy our ID. This is what we're gonna use to actually prompt the player. The player. Probably gonna be easier naming it the script. Okay, so and then you need, first things first, I actually need to define the player. So local players, you go to game.players.localPlayer. That's just getting your player. So what does this do? Okay, marketplace service, basically what it is it's a service, right? And then it prompts the product purchase. Okay? Like, so this is a test purchase. You're about, but okay. So what we need to do in this script, okay, connect it. Okay, basically, all right. We're gonna actually do stuff. Okay. Okay. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do you want to sell or what product you want to sell. We want all right, says receipt, okay, and then receipts info. This may look a little confusing at first. Don't worry, it's not going to. All right, so actually set callback, okay, and then we're gonna do marketplace service dot process receipt is equal to this function right here, which is called process receipt, but it's spelled the capitalized P is lowercase, so that way it's not the same thing. But you see what it does? It basically, every time like the process receipt thing is called, it's not an event. It's kind of weird. It should be an event, but it's not. So every time that's called, it's gonna run this function, and then this function is where we're gonna actually do stuff. Okay. Okay. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the player. So that's what we're gonna do first. We want to actually, every time like the time that little like prompt comes up and the player hits buy, this function is going to get called. That's what's going to happen, okay? So we're going to actually set that callback the receipt, but it's spelled the capitalized P is lowercase, so that way it's not the same thing. But you see what it does? It basically, every time like the process receipt thing is called, it's not an event. It's kind of weird. It should be an event, but it's not. So every time that's called, it's going to run this function, and then this function is where we're going to actually do stuff, okay? But or we're going to do get parameter gives you a lot of like information. We're gonna do receipt info dot player ID, and let me make sure it's product ID. You can get the currency spent, so the amount of currency spent. Okay, okay. The player probably left the game. Okay, that's what happened. And then if they come back, okay, the callback will be called again. Okay, so if they come back, this will be called again. Okay, so what's gonna happen after this? It's gonna do if not player, then it's gonna be like, okay, we're done. And but if they come back, then this will be called again. Okay, now what we're gonna do too is we need to return enum dot product purchase decision dot not processed yet. Okay, so you can see here it says product purchase decision, and then it says not processed yet. Okay, so it wasn't processed yet, so we need to return that. That way when they come back, okay, when they come back, we can know we need to run that again. Okay, so we don't want to, you want to scam our players. We want to make sure it all runs good. Okay, so then we're gonna do over here, we want it to give a sword. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and go to test right here. So I'm gonna do local replicated storage is equal to game get servers replicated storage, and then I'm gonna do local sword is equal to replicated storage wait for child sword or classic sword. There we go, perfect. All right, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do sword. We'll actually clone it. We'll do actually we'll name it first. We're gonna name it sword. Get the character. So what we're gonna do to game.workspace.find first word character is gonna be right there. Okay, and that'll be cool. All right, cool. So so we'll do local dot good important. Okay, purchase granted. There we go. That's pretty much it. Okay, so now we have that. That's pretty cool. And okay, so it should work now. So now basically this is kind of now it worked. That's the point. Okay, and actually we'll go ahead and print 2 down here. Yeah. For the we should if sorry if receipt info dots I forgot we'll do. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you have the right dev product or reward. You give them the right thing. And then for this one, obviously we didn't make this Game Pass yet, but if we did, we'd do like, you know, if receipt info dot purchase ID is equal to product ID 2. Okay, so then you could do whatever that dev product wanted to do. This is important because if it doesn't work like that, then it would like any dev product that was called even if it was like cheaper or whatever, different dev product, it wouldn't actually work. So yeah, still gonna test that, make sure it works. Hit buy now, and okay, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? I don't know. But Mission Beast upload is pretty cool. Anyways, guys, you get the point though. Make sure that's all good. And wait a minute, let me make sure that's. Okay, that's just string. Okay, I'm sorry. I did purchase ID. Don't do purchase ID. Sorry guys about that. It should be dot product ID. So yeah, that's what I meant to say though. Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, make sure you have that lined up. If you have more than one Game Pass, you want to make sure you're giving yourself the right stuff, right? And yeah, all right, cool. I just bought it. It says use code TAP. Just bought that Game Pass ID and our product developer ID. And yes, I did just buy that. That is awesome. All right, guys. So it did work indeed. I hope you guys did. I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. If you did, like always, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and use code TAP if this helped you and if you want to support me. So yeah. All right. So now you can use your sword and battle. That's pretty cool. So yeah, guys, that's it. Local. Yeah, we're gonna do.
Okay, so first, let's see what he did. Okay, so he put, a dev product handler inside starter player scripts so that it'll run immediately. And we don't have to do this. You know, we could just, wait, hold on. Let's see what, how did he get the player again? I want to see.
And then don't worry about it. Alright, this is how Roblox. Nah, okay, that's.
Okay, process receipt. Wait, no, it should be 2 scripts, right? 2 scripts? Okay, no, here it is.
Player right here, okay, and then we want to. What ID do you want to sell, or what?
Okay, so first he gets the marketplace service. Okay, so first get marketplace service. Marketplace service. And then I have to go to the bathroom really badly. Okay, So he prompts the purchase. So he creates. No, oh wait, no. First, wait, no, not first. We're gonna do. Create dev product. Gets the ID. Get the ID, and then inside local script, get marketplace service, and get players service. Okay, got it. And then player is gonna equal game.players.local player. Wait. What is game.players.local player? What is game.players.local player? Is running the experience. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. He adds it. Okay, and then we call. Wait. Get player service. Get player service. Then get local player from players service. Then to prompt purchase, do marketplace service prompt product purchase player or local player product ID. Okay, makes sense. Prompt product purchase. Okay, and then what he does is okay, so and then inside the server script service. Okay, I'm starting to get what server script service is supposed to be. Server storage. I know what replicated storage now is now, and replicated first is I'm a little iffy on that. Replicated first and server storage is what I need to focus on. Let me see if he replied. Hold up. No, he did not reply. Okay. Okay, I'll just quit that. Okay. Inside the marketplace service. Inside marketplace service. Where is that? Or no, inside the server script service. Have a script that does what the desired outcome is supposed to be. Get necessary services. Necessary services and grab players, including local players. Is it local players as well? Is it local players or just players? Game not get service players. Player ID, receipt info. If not player, why is it player Oh, he creates a local player. Okay. On that. Okay, so he grabs the product ID and the sword product ID. Why does he grab the sword product ID? Do we even need the sword product ID?
We do like, if receipt info dot purchase ID is equal to product ID 2. Okay, so then you could do whatever that department wanted to do.
Oh. Okay. Wait, no, I don't get it. I don't know why he put sword product ID. Let me go back.
All back. I get a player. Local sword. That'd be cool. All right, cool. So there you go. That's pretty much it. Look like okay. Okay. We should check for that. Okay, look, because it's gonna process a receipt, right? So whenever this happens, right, the marketplace service calls this little function to process a receipt. It's gonna process a receipt, but if there's no dev product in your game, like if you have a dev product called local other or dev or we'll do product ID 2 is equal to if another one, it's also going to process that. And what if that's a different game pass? Or what if that's different? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't know yet. So what you should do really is we should get that little thing right there, right? And we should check. We should make sure. We should check for the IDs. Okay. So when you have more than one game pass, this is important. You should do if product ID is equal to.
Okay, got it. This is the test. Okay, so inside the server script service, have a script that does the desired outcome it's supposed to be. So get necessary services such as where did he have players? Players. Players get player by user ID.
That's bad. You know what I'm saying? You want to make.
Okay, yeah, here. Get necessary services. Game. Get service. Players. Included. Have the product IDs in hand, then create a function that takes in one parameter
You have the right.
and then if so local, so then check. I want to see what get player by user ID is. Receipt info dot player ID. Okay, so you can grab the player ID from the receipt info. There's probably like a bunch of stuff that goes inside receipt info. Receipt info. Service dot process receipt. Okay, so there's, let's see here, purchase ID, player ID, product ID, place ID where purchased, current spend. Nice. Okay, and then check if player is present by I think. Here, let me go back.
User ID Okay. And then we're gonna do receipts info. Okay. Okay, this is really confusing. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get the players first. Okay, I'm actually gonna define this part first. All right, we'll define it up there. We'll do local players. All the info you can get from there, it's actually a dictionary, is right here, okay? So you can get the purchase ID, you can get player ID. Let me make sure I spelled that right. You see? So that's what we're going to do. And then you get the product ID, you can get the currency spent, thing, place. If we just like, okay, if this function was just called and for some reason we didn't get a player, which we should have, then what happened was the player probably left the game. So if we didn't get a player, like if we just like, okay, if this function was just called.
Okay, so get player by user ID. So let's do, he did player, which is a player, is the service players. So players get user by, no, get what? Get player by, oh my god. Player by user ID. Get player by user ID. Here we go. So what does it return? Service players, chat, hello world, errors. Get player by user ID. And then it returns player. So if, oh wait, what? Returns player? That doesn't make sense. Player from character. Get character from user ID. Where is it? Or get user from user ID. Oh, wait, no. Get player. Get player from user ID. It's not here. Get player by user ID. The function searches each player in players for player.userid, matches the given user ID. If such a player does not exist, it simply returns nil. Equivalent to the following function. Okay, so player is gonna equal nil. So if not player, is nil the same thing as false? True is not the same thing as 1 when Ruby requires no, or Lua. True and false is one of the Lua type boolean. Nil is also known as type nil, so they are also two different types. But both false and nil evaluate to false in an expression. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so if this is nil, the player probably left. Create a function that takes in one parameter and then check then inside of this function. Check if player is present by doing local player or by setting a variable to players get player by user ID parameter from function dot player ID. Then check to see if it's false or nil, which evaluates it's the same bool value. Check to see if it's false. And if false, return enum.product purchase decision.not processed yet. Then return, okay. Then check if receipt info. Now then check if function parameter, which is the receipt info, the receipt info table. Yeah, so function, which is the receipt info. Parameter is equal to receipt info. Okay, but not processed yet. Then check if function parameter, which is the receipt info, function parameter dot purchase ID it's product ID, not purchase ID. So dot product ID function parameter dot purchase ID is equal to target product ID, target dev product ID, and if player is equal to true, and and players get player by user ID is equal to true. Seat info dot parameter dot player ID is equal to true. Then do desired outcome. So he clones the sword, and then he sets the name to sword, and then the parent is now equal to char. Okay. Cool. Nice. Next, I'm probably not going to be using dev products as much. I'm not going to lie. Okay, region 3.
Alrighty guys, it's Defkin here, back with a brand new tutorial. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you about Region 3. Now, you may have heard of Region 3 before. It's kind of useful, okay? You can use it like when scripting terrain and stuff like that, or like you can make your own like .touched event with it. I'm trying to think of a practical way to use it, but I can't. But listen, it's very useful, and you will probably use it one day. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you all about it. Okay, so first things first, before we get into the video, if you are new to scripting in general, you guys should definitely go check out my beginner series because you might find everything here confusing. But other than that, let's go ahead and start. Alright, I'm going to delete my script I have right here, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a new script into the, oh crap, not a model script, sorry, a new script into the server script service. Also guys, you know, use code TAP, you know what I'm saying, okay, because I have a code. Yeah, okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and start. Okay, so first things first, what is a region 3? Okay, so the best way to put this, okay, a region 3, or we're gonna just call it a region, you know, whatever you want, is just like a region. Okay, so this part right here, okay, it's pretty big. Okay, the size of it you can find right here. Okay, and basically everything in this part, or this entire part, like this area, would be considered a region if I made it one, right? But right now, obviously, it's just the size of the part. So let me actually make it a little transparent so you can kind of see it. So this is a whole region, okay? And I can go inside of it, and I can do whatever I want. And basically, you can make these with scripts, right? And you can make a region from a part, or you can make a part from a region. You can do whatever you want. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually make a region and then make a part to show the region, okay? So first things first, we're going to go ahead and type local region, okay? And then we're going to do region3 dot new. And okay guys, if this is looking confusing so far, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain region 3s. I feel like I'm doing a bad job. But listen, I'll explain it eventually, okay? So don't worry. Okay, anyways, just follow along, I guess. Okay, so we're going to do region3 dot new, and then we're going to do vector3 because we have to get like, okay, so how you make a region 3 is you need two values, okay? You need to see the vector 3 minimum and then the vector 3 max. And basically what that means is we need like the bottom left point of a part, or like of an area, right? So like we need this point right here, and then we need this point, the top right point. And then it's going to actually calculate this entire little like box right here, and it'll make it all a region. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to do region3.new, and then we have to make a point, the bottom left point. So we'll do vector3.new, and then we'll do 0, 0, or actually we'll do like 5, 0, 5. Okay, and then we'll do another comma, and we need to put the maximum point. So we'll do vector3.new, and we'll do 15, 15, 15. Okay, and now if I were to run this, obviously it's not displaying anywhere, it's just in the memory, but it could display someone's code.
How did everyone suddenly get so good at writing? WordTune. It's your writing wingman.
Somewhere if I wanted it to. So what we're going to do actually is I'm going to show you guys what the region looks like by making a part out of it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, don't do that, sorry. Okay, put the other parenthesis there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a new part. So we're going to do local part is equal to instance.new. Then we're going to name part, obviously. Okay, and then we're going to do part.size is equal to region dot size. Okay, so we just made the part dot size equal to the region dot size, and then we also need to anchor it. So actually I'm going to anchor it before that, so it doesn't fall off the map. So we'll do part dot anchored equal true. Okay, and then we need to actually give it a parent. So where do you want it to go? Obviously we want it to go to the workspace, so part dot parent is equal to game dot workspace, and then we'll make it not collide. So part.can collide is equal to false. And let's go ahead and hit play and see what happens. And I'll delete that. So it's going to create a part out of this region right here. So let's see if this works. And if it doesn't, I'm going to cry. But it should. So there it is. Okay, we just fell through it. But as you can see here, it made a part. Okay. You see like so like the bottom left corner is actually equal to 505, so I'm not sure which one it is, but it's one of these corners, right? And the top right is equal to 15, 15, 15. So it calculates it like from the bottom left to the top right, and it makes this huge box. Now, if I were to delete this whole part right here, you wouldn't see that box, obviously, because I didn't actually make anything with the region, but that's what it does, okay? So yeah, that's kind of cool. And Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so now we're gonna actually make the region do stuff. Okay, so we're gonna make it like be a little dot touched event. I'm pretty sure that's how the Roblox like built-in dot touched event works with region threes. I'm not sure honestly, but I would assume so. But anyways, we're gonna do while true do. Okay, and we're gonna do wait. We need to put a wait function in there. Okay, and then we're gonna do local parts. Or no. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna have to define the parts in the region, okay, and then we're gonna loop through them, and then we're gonna see if it's a player, and if it's a player, we're gonna like kill the player, something like that, okay. So we're gonna do 3 with whitelist. I'll hit enter, and it takes 3 parameters. First things first, let's 3, or we're gonna just call it a region, you know, whatever you want, is just like a region, okay. So this part right here, okay, it's pretty big, okay. The size of it you can find right here, okay, and basically everything in this part, or this entire part, like this area, would be considered a region if I made it one, right? But right now obviously it's just the size of the part. So let me actually make it a little transparent so you can kind of see it. So this is a whole region, okay, and I can go inside of it and I can do whatever I want, and basically you can make these with scripts, right? And you can make a region from a part, or you can make a part from a region. You can do whatever you want. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to actually make a region, and then make a part to show the region, okay. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and type local region, okay, and then we're gonna do region3 dot new. And okay guys, if this is a little confusing so far, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain region 3s. I feel like I'm doing a bad job, but listen, I'll explain it eventually, okay, so don't worry. Okay, anyways, just follow along, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna do region3 dot new, and then we're gonna do vector3, because we have to get like, okay, so how you make a region 3 is you need 2 values, okay. You need to see the vector 3 minimum and then the vector 3 max. And basically what that means is we need like the bottom left point of a part, or like of an area, right? So like we need this point right here, and then we need this point, the top right point. And then it's going to actually calculate this entire little like box right here, and it'll make it all a region. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to do region3.new, and then we have to make a point, the bottom left point. So we'll do vector3.new, and then we'll do 0 0, or actually we'll do like 5 0 5, okay, and then we'll do another comma, and we need to put the maximum point. So we'll do vector3.new, and we'll do 15 15 15, okay. And now if I were to run this, obviously it's not displaying anywhere, it's just in the memory, but it could display somewhere. If it's not displaying anywhere, it's just in the memory, but it could display somewhere if I wanted it to. So so what we're gonna do actually is I'm gonna show you guys what the region looks like by making a part out of it, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, don't do that, sorry. Okay.
I have to go take a shower real quick. I'll be right back. Give me like another hour. No, probably like 40 minutes. 40 minutes, yeah. So 40 would be 15, 25, 15, 25, 15, 25, right? 15, 25, yeah. So 6:25. 6:25 p.m. BST. And I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I have. See, like, you guys need to understand. Like, I have a life. Like, I'm not just gonna be streaming all day. Like, I have to, like, eat. You guys gotta let me eat. Hold on. Here, Vicky, can you turn the volume down, please?
Oh my gosh, it's a whole mob.
Can you turn the volume down, please, Vicky? Okay, currently checking out Region 3s. Hold on, let me... There we go.
There are other ones there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and create a new part. So we're gonna do local part is equal to instance dot new. Then we're gonna name part, obviously. Okay, and then we're gonna do part dot size is equal to region dot size. Okay, so we just made the part dot size equal to the region dot size, and then we also need to anchor it. So actually, I'm gonna anchor it before that, so it doesn't fall off the map. So we'll do part.anchored equal true, okay, and then we need to actually give it a parent. So where do you want it to go? Obviously, we want it to go to the workspace. So part.parent is equal to game.workspace, and then we'll make it not collide. So part.canCollide is equal to false. And let's go ahead and hit play and see what happens. And I'll delete that. So it's going to create a part out of this region right here. So let's see if this works. And if it doesn't, I'm going to cry, but it should. So. There it is. Okay, we just fell through it, but as you can see, part.canCollide is equal to false. And let's go ahead and hit play and the workspace. So part.parent is equal to game.workspace, and then we'll make it not collide. So part.canCollide is equal to false. And let's go ahead and hit play and see what happens. And I'll delete that. So it's going to create these corners, right, and the top right is equal to 15 15 15, so it calculates it like from the bottom left to the top right, and it makes this huge box. Now if I were to delete this whole part right here, you wouldn't see that box, obviously, because I didn't actually make anything with the region, but that's what it does. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so now we're gonna actually make the region do stuff. Okay, so we're gonna make it like be a little dot touched event. I'm pretty sure that's how the Roblox like built-in dot touched event works with region 3s. I'm not sure honestly, but I would assume so. But anyways, we're gonna do while true do. Okay, and we're gonna do wait. If it's only for it, you can put a table of the parts you want to ignore, but for this instance we're just going to do find parts in region 3, so it'll find every part, and then it actually allows you to ignore one part if you want to. So let's go ahead and type find parts in region 3. I'll hit enter, and it takes 3 parameters. First things first, obviously the region, that makes sense, right? So we're going to do region, and then we're going to do for the part okay, so the next parameter is the part to ignore, if you want a part to ignore. Personally, I don't want any parts to ignore, so we're going to name it nil. And actually, wait a minute, we want to ignore this part, okay, because we don't want it to just keep putting like, okay, so like you see how it makes this part right here. We don't want it to actually put that part in there because we already know that's the region, so we'll just put part in there because that's what we named this part. And then we're going to go ahead and do the last parameter, which is, see, like when you forget stuff sometimes, you gotta go back. What is the last parameter? Wait a minute. Professional workspace. Find parts in region 3. Last parameter is number of max parts. So what's the maximum you want to make this? That's what it is. So we'll just do like, we could do like math.huge to make it infinite, but we're not going to do that. We'll just do like 100 or something, okay? We don't really need that many parts. Actually, we'll do 1,000. Okay. Anyways, next we're going to go region. This second doing is we can do is we can works for move 0.9, and then parent first child human. Okay, yeah. Okay, make that say if part.parent find first child humanoid is not equal to nil. If you guys don't know, this little sign right here means not equal to. So if I'm trying to think of a way to explain it, and then but I hope this makes sense. Like if the part, right? So basically, if my trying to think of a way to explain that. So, but I hope this makes sense. Like if the part, right? So basically, if my body part hits it, and then the parent of it, and then which would be my character, right? And then you find the first child humanoid, which I have, and then if that's not equal to nil, then we know it's a character. So that's it. Also, the char isn't equal to that. Okay, so then let me print the char dot or parent or part dot parent dot name. Make sure that's the player, because that should, or the character. Sorry, that should be. I just want to make sure. See, you guys, printing is useful. Okay, it's not useless. Okay, so it is. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and do something with the players or the character. So what we can do is we can just kill the player or kill the character. I keep saying the wrong thing. We'll do char.humanoid, and then we can do colon take damage. If you guys haven't seen this function before, pretty self-explanatory. It's use it on the humanoid and it just takes away damage from it, or takes damage to it. Or you could do char.humanoid is equal to or dot health is equal to char.humanoid dot health minus 100, right? But we'll just do char.humanoid take damage, and then we'll actually just make it take the max health. Okay, so the max health of a normal humanoid is 100, so we'll just make it take 100 health from the character and make it die. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it out and see if it works. And okay, come on, it should. And oof, okay, jeez, my entire body just exploded. Also, don't mind my character, okay? I know it may look a little weird, but listen, I can explain, okay? Just don't worry. Anyways, so yeah, that's how it works. Awesome. Hope that makes sense to you guys. That's pretty cool. And if you guys are wondering why I didn't print again, actually I have more to explain, so don't leave yet. But if you see, like, it kills me once, right? And then it doesn't happen again, and that's because I need to actually loop through it another time, but that's fine. You guys understand that. Oh, okay, it did kill me again. All right. Very cool. So now we have a spawn killer, it seems like. Okay, no, it did this. Okay, so it broke the first time. All right, but yeah, so as you can see there, that's like a dot touched event. And also, if you guys see there, it prints a bunch of times. Like it says times 233. And that's because like every body part that touches it, it runs, or it's going to be running every like millisecond, right? Because the weight is empty, so it gets all the body parts, and every time the body part touches, it's printing. Okay, hope that makes sense. It's the same thing with the dot touched event. Like it'll print a bunch. So yeah. All right. Anyways, next we're going to go ahead and I'm actually going to show you how to make a region from a part. Okay, so it's a lot cooler. Kind of. So, okay, what we're going to do is actually put a multi-line comment right here. So we're going to comment this out real quick. If you guys don't know, that's a multi-line comment. So we're going to go ahead and comment that out. And that way that doesn't make a part now. So, yeah. And then also, as you can see here, there was a part we wanted to ignore, which is this part. So we're going to make that equal to nil. And, yeah. Also, I probably should have named that part when that was part, but it's okay. I mean, it still works. So yeah, make that equal to nil because there's no part to ignore now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab, we're going to go ahead and grab a part right here. Okay. And we're going to make it as big as we want to make it. So if you want to make it big, make it big, make it small, do whatever you want. Okay. All right. Here we go. And I'll make it like this, and I'll make it like that. Alder. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna actually make the region from the part. So earlier, we have to find. I'll try to explain as best. Region, and then we're gonna look so confusing as divide. Okay, this all looks good, right? And it does this first, even though according to PEMDAS it will, but I put this in parentheses because I want to make sure it divides that first. Okay, so what it's gonna do is it's gonna do, okay, the region part dot position. Okay, it's gonna find a position, all right, which is this. All right, I'll make it a better number maybe. I'll make it like 5 0 15. Okay, and we need to make it like 5. There you go. All right, so it finds a position, okay, and then it minuses it, or and then it subtracts the size of the region. Okay, so whenever you get the position, right, it's really getting like the center of the mesh or the center of the part. Okay, so that's what it's giving you. All right, so that's what you're doing. You're getting the size. Okay, well, I'll make these whole numbers so they're a little bit easier to look at. There you go. And let me actually put my modeling to
Build custom industrial.
one stud. There you go. And that's, oh no. Okay, whatever, it's fine. All right, so you get the point. Okay, so it this is, I'm sorry, it's hard to explain. Okay, so it gets the position, and then it subtracts the size of it minus 2. Okay, so it does like the size, okay, and then it divides it by 2, okay, and then minus the position. So hope that makes, or then, you know what, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm just gonna do the next one. Okay, so then local position 2 is equal to region part dot position plus region part dot size divided by 2. Okay, so we're doing the same thing, but the only difference is there's a plus right here, so it goes to the top right instead. Now I know a way to visualize this, but it'd probably take a little while to write it out. But I'm just gonna say what it does is this this math function right here, all it does is it finds the bottom left point, and then this one, position 2, finds the top right point. Okay, it's pretty simple to understand, maybe a little hard to visualize, but that's what it does. Okay, there we go. All right, so then we're gonna do local region. We're gonna make the region, and we're gonna say local region is equal to region 3 dot new position 1 position 2. Okay, now also you don't need to have this part, like, okay, whenever we made this that first region, remember we made that first region and we made a part with it, we didn't need to have that part there. We could have had the region, right, and it could have just been a nice little region, and it would have looked nice. But we made a part just to visualize it, but the region could have just been invisible, no part, it will only be known through a script, right, and it would still work. Makes sense. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second here, but let me comment this out again. All right, there we go. All right, so now it's going to create the region, and it should work. Now, I also need to rename this. As you can see here, it says local, oh no, that's actually good because I made the region right there. All right, so that should be work. All right, so let's go ahead and test it out and see if this bad boy works. All right, here we go. Now, also, Can Collide might be off, and Anchored might, yep. Oh, no. All right, so, okay, so let me turn Can Collide off. There we go, and let me anchor it too. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit play, and it's gonna actually default spawn me on it because that's where the, okay, let me move it, yeah. All right, by default it's gonna spawn me on it because obviously, like, your character spawned to the origin, and that's where the part was. It filled up that. So now if we walk over to the region, okay, which is made out of this part, this entire part is a region because we made it from the part. We're gonna walk into it and we're gonna die, okay, because we still have this function right here which kills you. Okay, pretty simple stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And also what we can do is let's say we make the, okay, let's say we wanted a region that was like this big. Okay, we wanted this entire region right here, and I'll move it over a little bit. And then what we did is we made the region, but then we're like, you know what, we don't want this part though. We don't want people to know there's a region here. So what you can just do is just delete the part, right? You can just do region part destroy. There we go. And then you hit F5, and the region's going to be there, but the part won't. So look, I spawn in, and I think the region's over here. Let me walk over, and see, I still died because the region's still there in the memory. It's just you don't see it. It's not visualized. Okay, so that's the same thing when we make this part over here. It was still a region, and you can still use it, but we made a part just to show you better, or I made a part to show you better. But if I deleted that part, it would still kill you. So yeah, as you can see here, it still does. So yeah, this can be pretty useful, like maybe if you wanted to play music in a certain area, or if you wanted to have like a cell area of your game, or you know, whatever you wanted. But anyways, guys, let me end this tutorial before it gets way too long. But that is pretty much it. I hope you guys did enjoy the tutorial. If you did, and if this made sense,
Okay, very interesting. I think this will be very useful. Okay, so region 3. It takes the bottom corner and then diagonally to it, it'll take this. So we'll take those 3, and then this one will take these 3, I think. Okay, so let's see. Find parts. Let's see what he did here. Okay, here. So he, while true to, so this is always running every millisecond. Every millisecond, it's gonna create a parts in region. Bruh. Okay, so parts in region is gonna be find parts in region, nil, 1000. So let me look up what parts in region. Parts in region Roblox. Huh.
What am I supposed to do? I literally got no ammo.
New spatial queries. So these are deprecated, so this is something new. There are no plans to replace. Objects, world root, get part bounds in box.
This is so gory.
Returns a table of all base parts whose bounding boxes overlap the given box at C-frame and size.cframe for the center of the box in our TJSD. Overlap params. Okay, so this seems to be outdated. This is outdated. Cool. Who's this new subscriber? Nice.
When I met you in the sun.
Bruh.
What the?
Okay, so anyways, we're gonna check out that new, this thing right here, overlap params. Right here. World root boundary querying functions. In particular, world root get part bounds in box. World root get part bounds in radius, and world root get parts in part. The overlap params filter descendants instances property stores an array of objects to use as either inclusion or exclusion list based on the overlap params filter type enum, and the overlap params collision group property can specify a collision group for the boundary query operation. Returns a new blank overlap params object.
Yeah, dude.
So these are the same thing, right? The max amount of parts to be returned by the query. The collision group. Why is it lagging so much? Yeah. Wi-Fi is not liking my stream right now. Yeah, I wonder why.
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Hold on.
Online, on Mac, immerses you in a universe with
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's lagging. It's saying there's a ton of dropped frames. So,
Alright, so there's a well on the right side that you can go to and get the TMP in the demo. But you can't get it.
yeah, I don't know. I have zero idea.
I'll go and collect a few things, I guess. Resources. Nice. Seems like it makes some bullets if I really need to.
Just try scrolling around. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to downscale it. I have to downscale it. Okay, video output is currently active. Yeah, I'm gonna have to restream, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, it's just text, so does it really matter? I mean, I'm not gonna be... You can still hear my voice, right? Okay, yeah. You can still hear my voice. I'm on my phone right now and I can hear myself perfectly fine. So, I'm gonna just keep studying. It's probably gonna fix itself tomorrow. Param seems like the new thing to be looking at. Overlap params Roblox. Create a hitbox in Roblox spatial query and overlap patterns. Get part bounds in box. Let's try this video.
Alright, I'm just gonna get him to spot me.
This video will be all about spatial query and overlaps around 2 years ago and are extremely useful for basic hitbox detection without having to get all complicated with things like the .touched event or arraycasts. Spatial Query API provides 3 main functions, all of which are called on the workspace object: get part bounds in box, get part bounds in radius, and get parts in part. What each of these does is rather self-explanatory, but I'll go into more depth on the specific details and arguments that go into each of these functions. First off, we'll look at workspace get part bounds in box, for which we'll insert a regular script into server script service. What you call this script doesn't really matter, but we'll create a variable called parts and set it to the result of workspace get part bounds in box. As you can see, there are 3 arguments that this function takes. The first being a C-frame for the origin, position, and orientation of the box that you want to detect items in. The second argument is a vector3 object which determines the size of the collision box, so we'll put a basic size of 10 all around to make a cube for testing. The final property is an overlap params object, but we'll get to that later, and for now we'll move this code into a repeating while loop and add a print for the parts variable to see what parts were hit. Seeing as the tables are all closed, it makes it very difficult to see what's what, so we'll go to the output and turn on Show Tables Expanded by default, so we can see the detected parts changing as we enter and exit the hitbox. In order to better visualize where the hitbox actually is, so it's more intuitive to see for testing purposes, we'll create variables for the C-frame and the size arguments and create a new part, turning anchored to true and can collide, can query, and can touch all to false, setting the C-frame and size to match the variables we created so it's a perfect match of our hitbox. Finally, set the transparency to be translucent and set the parent to the workspace so we can actually see the part in-game. Testing it again, it functions the same, but we can actually see the hitbox and see how the printed table changes as we move around in and out of it. We can also see that it detects parts even if they're barely touching it, so long as they are, and that overall it's pretty accurate to the box. Now, if you wanted to use this for a hitbox, you'd want to take these parts and find the characters based on these parts. You can do this by creating a new table for all the characters that have been hit and running a for loop through each part, checking if the part's parent has a humanoid inside it and if the part's parent isn't already found inside the table. If both of these conditions are true, we'll insert the part's parent into the table we created and we'll print the final table at the end of the loop at the bottom. Now we can see it doesn't print all my character's individual parts, but my character model itself. We can also see that since it only detects if the part's parent has a humanoid, it also works with non-player characters as well without any extra adjustments. For now, we'll disable that script and insert a new one to have a look at get part bounds in radius this time. We'll create a while loop just like before and make sure to add a wait at the bottom. We'll set a variable called parts to the result of the workspace get part bounds in radius. As you can see, this method has 3 arguments: position, radius, and the overlap params from earlier, which I still haven't gotten to yet. The position is a vector3, so we'll set it to be 8 studs from the center position of the world, and the radius is a number, so we'll just set it to be 5 and print the parts variable we created. We can see that it seems to function rather similarly to the hitbox we had earlier, but it's actually a sphere instead of a box. To show this in more detail, let's create a display part in the same way we did before, setting the position and radius to variables and creating a new part instance. We'll set anchored, can collide, can query, and can touch to the same values as we did before, and then set the size to be a new vector3 of the radius for all axes, but multiplying the whole thing by a scale of 2. We'll set the position to the position variable, the transparency to 0.5, and the parent to the workspace. Finally, we'll set the shape property to enum.parttime.ball, so it's a sphere rather than a box. Now we can see the hitbox in much more detail, noticing that it actually functions as a sphere rather than a box, which is great for area of effect hit detection or finding anything within a certain radius if you're not wanting to use magnitude. Now you can do the same thing we did before to find the actual characters that will hit rather than the parts. As you can see, it functions the same but with a spherical hitbox instead of a box. Disabling that script and inserting yet another will test out the final method, get parts in part. This one uses an actual part rather than variables that define position and size, which allows for more flexibility in the case that you wanted a moving or changing hitbox. We'll create a new part in basically the same way we created the display parts for the other hitboxes, but except we'll use this part as the hitbox itself rather than just a display of it. We'll run a while loop just like before, setting a parts variable to be workspace, get parts in part, and providing the part as the argument, printing the parts table. Also make sure to add a wait to the while loop, which I forgot to do here. As we can see, this hitbox seems to function basically the same as get part bounds in box, except that the main difference is that it actually follows the part if we change the part, whereas the other 2 hitboxes are always the same. I believe this method also respects the specific collision shapes for meshes and other types of parts as well, if you wanted a more specific kind of collision shape. Again, we can find the characters that were hit by looping through the parts table just like before. Testing it, we can see it works the same. Finally, let's get to the last argument of all three of these functions, overlap params. Overlap params is basically the spatial query version of raycast params and has many of the same properties. Inside the get part bounds and box script, which we'll re-enable, we'll create a new overlap params and test the properties one by one. Here you can see a list of all the main properties and methods of overlap params, but we'll just go over the major ones for now. We'll first look at the filter descendants instances property, for which we'll actually first remove the can query and can touch properties we set to false for the display part from earlier. We'll also comment out the finding characters portion and print the parts table again. Now you'll notice that the display part is actually being detected in the hitbox unlike before now that can query is off. To demonstrate filter descendants instances, we'll create an overlap params object and set the filter descendants instances property to a table which contains just the display part we made. And finally, we'll make sure to add the params object as a final argument to get part bounds in box, and you'll notice that now the hitbox detects our player's parts, but not the display part since we added it to the ignore list. Another thing we can do is run add to filter on the params object, adding all the parts that were hit to the filter, making so each part can only be hit one time rather than multiple. If we add the code for finding characters back, we can add the character models instead, and it'll make so each character can only be hit once, which is also super useful for hitbox detection. For example, if we comment out the add to filter function call and find the humanoid for each character, making them take 10 damage, you'll notice the code just rapidly damages me and kills me instantly. But if we add the add to filter function call back, you'll notice it only damages me once, no matter how much I move around or play in the hitbox. Next, we'll look at the filter type property, which has two main options, include and exclude.